Hey, what's up, everyone? Dragon here with another edition of the Kaiju commentary. On this one, we are watching 1970s Space Amoeba. So, when you see the Toho logo appear on your screen, that is your cue to start listening to us. So, we're going to kick things off in 3, 2, 1. Hello! Welcome to another edition of the Kaiju commentary. Today, we are watching 1970s Space Amoeba.
Space Amoeba!
Space Amoeba! Amoebas from space! This is another Toho classic.
Oh, are we getting right into it?
No, it's they do like a cool little stylized opening for this movie, which I like.
Introducing these guys.
Yeah, kind of showing you some of the monster mayhem to come. This is a bit of a different movie. Kaiju movie, yes, but not your most traditional one. The nature of the story and kind of just the general approach and kind of what the kaiju actually are in this movie are actually really kind of original, even by today's standards, I would say, and really cool. But not your traditional kaiju in the sense of kind of how they came to be and kind of what their function in the story is. But ironically enough, it's kind of it kind of has more of a modern feel, this movie, in a way. Like this story, I could see being. See, he just threw up his hands like he didn't care. I could see this movie being remade, and them not having to like change any of the narrative elements. Like it's pretty. Yeah, you saw that right. A little. That kaiju's neck was ribbed for your pleasure.
Oh.
Yeah.
No.
I love this shot. Again, it just goes to show you that you can take something as simple as like a model, granted a very well made model,
Yeah.
but with the right lighting and just, how you stage the shot, how it can look really. I mean, yeah, this is a model shot, obviously, but it looks really good. Like the choice of lighting they use, everything
Exciting piano.
I know, right? Yeah, blast off. Yeah, I feel this effect is achieved very well.
Oh, except for that one.
Well,
They can't all be winners.
wow, tough crowd. See, because the way it starts off, it kind of sets you up for something maybe a little bit different than what the story ultimately becomes. I actually saw this one a little bit later on in life.
Yes, I haven't seen this one yet, so.
It's one of those things where, as a kid, in the dark days before the internet, when we were all hiding in caves and being stalked by large things with teeth and claws. The only times we could see these movies is when we, whatever we find at like, our local video store. So basically,
Oh no, there's space mist.
there's space, like meth or whatever. That shuttle's got a drug problem. But see, I think this effect is done really, really well.
Yeah.
Again, I saw this movie later on in life. I was already like more of an adult. So when I saw this, at first I was like, "Am I watching like a remastered edition?" I mean, I'm pretty sure that's done for like more like cell shaded animation, which a lot of times they would use that kind of a technique when they needed to create like something that would basically now be done in CGI. But it's done very, very well, and it was actually integrated so well that I was like, "Wait a minute, is this like a re-release, remaster?" Because I'm like, that looks really good for 1970. But hey, it's just that good. But again, like I said, Toho. I mean, we are deep, deep, deep into the show era now. So Toho has kind of mastered their craft. And this film kind of really shows like a lot of their techniques that not only have they pioneered, but but basically just mastered. I mean, no one was doing it as good as them.
I like the little curtains instead of like the plastic shuttery things they have now. Oh.
Oh.
What was that?
This makes you think a little bit of that Twilight Zone episode with William Shatner, where he sees the guy on the plane. Touchdown. How's that for a segue, folks?
That was an awkward cut.
I know.
Anyways, that exciting piano we heard a minute ago makes me think of Zelda Breath of the Wild when the Guardians are locking on you, because there's also exciting piano music.
Also exciting piano music, you say?
Yes. Maybe Breath of the Wild composer ripped this movie off.
You know what? I believe you. I believe that's exactly.
They're like, you know what we need more in video games? Exciting piano.
But exciting piano from Godzilla movies, or not Godzilla, but Toho movies, which.
Yes. Don't you dare try that. I want to go on a date. Look at his hat.
This actor is Akira Kubo, who played Makigoro in Son of Godzilla. He was the reporter who landed on the island like via parachute. So it's just kind of funny that he's in a plane at the beginning of this one watching something else parachute down. A bit more of a rough and tumble character in this one. But again, Toho, sticking with their kind of pool of actors and just kind of, if it's not broken, don't fix it mentality when it comes to performers. So it's kind of cool, again, to see them, playing, not just different roles, but different kinds of characters, too. Because, again, he was a lot more plucky and a bit more optimistic in that film. And here, he's far more pessimistic. He's a more kind of rough around the edges character, if you couldn't tell by the stubble. Seems like whenever they want to make a male character seem a little rough. Look at him. It's like, bitch, please. Let me stop you right there. Just smacks the shit out of him. How boss are you if you just turn down a job like that?
I know.
He's like, here's the thing. Appreciate the offer, but I'm going to have to ask you to go fuck yourself because no. This guy right here. Yeah, smooth as fuck. Look at him. Look at him. Hang on. Look at him. Hell yeah. Look at him. Look at him just sit down. Look at him just sit down. Look at him. He's already got her behind him. Like, he just walked in the room and already he's got a fine woman just standing behind him. Like, she was on the other side of the room. She had no reason to walk over there, but she did. Why? Because he's over there now.
Instinct.
Yeah. Just sat down. Like, I'm waiting for her to, like, just hand him, like, like a martini or something. Damn.
Well, sold.
It's like, what if I told you there were monsters on this island? Would you be interested in that? It's like, yes I would. I kind of feel that whole exchange right there is a bit meta towards the audience now about this movie. Wanna go see a movie about people, going to check out on a lost island? Not really. What if I told you there were monsters there? Yeah, that changes everything. Brazil.
And nobody knows about it but me. What the fuck was he doing?
It's
like he went stupid.
I don't know. That was a odd choice on the part of the actor, and perhaps an even odder choice on the part of the director, who didn't
I know,
shoot him for doing that. Like, hey, can you do me a favor and not act like a complete idiot in my movie? Appreciate it. Just being an asshole. No, it was just strange. Still the show era. Those are some intense fishing pools. Damn.
It's like deep sea fishing pools almost.
It's like we're like fishing for Moby Dick here. Like,
maybe they are.
And if only Ahab would have had one of those, things would have turned out a little bit better for him. The Kaiju commentary does not condone or support the hunting of whales. Hashtag Free Willy.
Wow.
Yeah. Never forget. Funny, when I was in Okinawa, we used to you went down by the water, obviously, you would see guys like fishing like that with these big poles. They would just be right there by the water. I don't know if they ever caught anything, quite frankly, but yeah, they were always there, like lots of them, and you could just go. I know a lot of places like you have designated areas where you can fish, but I guess you could just. I don't know about now. This is like in the late '90s, but I guess you could just do it wherever then, because there would always be guys all up and down the water. It's just.
I think he even said that. They said.
Well, yeah, here you're not supposed to, but this is an island where, islanders have a belief in a monster, so that's kind of a valid point. Ooh.
It's a big one.
It'd be so creepy to see something like that.
I know.
And this is a composite shot they did, and it's actually a pretty good one. When I first saw it, I had to kind of look again to see, okay, there you can see it more. It's a bit more, okay. You can see the outlining where it's composite in, but when it was very nice of them to just kind of help him wrap that tentacle around. Like, hey, can you give me a hand? I got arthritis in my tentacle. Can you just kind of wrap? Thank you. But no, when I first saw that shot, like, oh, wow, they actually, composited really well into the shot, and it's, like, hard lighting and everything. So I thought it was, again, you're just seeing the techniques now. Hey. It's like Island Santa.
Mm.
This guy's intense. Rico.
Suave.
So now I got that song in my head. Rico.
Of course he is. They're always angry.
I was always waiting for him to just take his stick and just like bash him in the head with it, just drive him back in the water.
You don't believe in monsters? I'm so sorry.
It's a sharp shirt.
He'd like to be friends with. I'm like, dude, are you 5?
She's really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Your hair is fabulous. There's a chance to make a move.
Mm.
It's like, dude, you're really gonna cock block me like this? It's so funny. We saw him in Mothra versus Godzilla, and it's just he was very clean shaven, shorter hair. It's just so weird to see him a little bit more like a James Bond villain looking a little bit here. It's the 70s. Everyone kind of grew out a little bit of facial hair. Hey, look, it's Ian Malcolm from Jurassic Park.
Mm.
So he's got to do that, he's going to do that laugh where he's all like, anyone remember that laugh?
Yes.
Anyone? The most, like, bizarre laugh in cinema history where everyone's just like, why does he laugh that way? It's like a half laugh, half growl. Yeah, see, his laugh is not nearly as cool. And then they're all thinking it too. Like that was a terrible laugh. It's such a bad laugh. They all left. They were so offended by his laugh.
I know how that goes.
Pretty sure that's like a matte painting behind them. That's done really well. Why is she holding her hat down?
Because maybe there's wind.
There's no wind.
Maybe she thinks there's wind.
How come this guy right here. I'm going to go on a limb here and say that particular skin hue is maybe not natural. On the gentleman steering the boat, Rico. Okay, is the boat supposed to be in motion right here, by the way?
I don't know.
Because he's like doing the whole thing they do with the wheel where they're moving the motor around, and it's like. By the way, the same logic applies. If you're spinning the boat motor around, your boat's just going to be going everywhere but straight, so. I'm not sure if this is supposed to. If they shot this in like southern Japan or Okinawa. 'Cause obviously, I know sometimes for more tropical settings they'll use Okinawa for that because it's a subtropical island, but in other words, it's got more palm trees, so they usually will shoot down there.
Yeah.
Rico, suave. That'd be great if they have to say that every time they say his first name.
I don't know why they like those hats so much.
People still rock those hats today.
I don't understand it.
You don't think it's a hot look?
No.
I like how you assume the natives would just give them shelter. Like, that's a thing. It's
Alright. The big cavern. He's like, I don't want to go in the big cavern. Let's sleep on the beach. That's a
I
good
don't know. I was
idea.
gonna say, I'm pretty sure the tide would like take you guys away.
Maybe that's what he's saying. He wants the long sleep.
Wow.
I'm sorry, that was terrible.
Damn. Shut up. Things got real here for a minute. And this guy. This guy's just not having it. Look at him. You just pulled into the movie and he's already just over it. Look at him. He's just walking around like, fuck you, fuck you. So obviously there's the gentleman we saw in the beginning of the film whose buddy got pulled in by the monster. Now you can tell he's kind of in a state of disarray because you can see that little bit of a shadow on his upper lip. That means he's that means he's given up on life. That's what it means. Seriously, what is the
How would he know that?
Jesus. Seriously, what is all that shit hanging off his hat, and what is like the practical purpose behind it? Like, I don't get it. I know it has a very islandy look, but I'm just not really
Well, if it's a hat that's woven, then it's just the end of the weave.
That's a lot, though.
I don't know. I
They
think
might
it's
wanna-
just fashion.
It's I don't get fashion.
Maybe you should look it up.
Yeah. Oh. Okay. This is why we watch like Project Runway or whatever. I'm just always like, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know why that won, and I don't know why that lost. So I don't get it. So okay. So
Go
this
to the
guy.
map painting.
So that guy was supposed to be their guide or whatever, and now
I
he's
know.
not even driving the damn Jeep. He's just like, I'm just here.
She's afraid of a turtle, apparently.
Apparently.
Not yet.
I know, right? Funny you should mention
She's
that.
awfully dressed up for this.
I know. It's a sharp suit, though. He's rocking that pink around the collar pretty good. Not a lot of guys can pull that one off. Ooh, hot spring.
Let's go. They just all start stripping.
It's like, oh wow,
This
they're really
movie
going for it.
just took a turn.
Well, this movie just got perfect. Ooh.
What's that? Wouldn't the other guy immediately know what that is? Where is he?
He's too busy standing in the background, not giving a fuck.
Mm.
It's kind of... Oh, look, fuck suddenly given.
Mm. Is it safe?
Like they got wet and all those two guys back there, they really just took like 5 steps back and they're
They
just
weren't
fine.
in a splash zone.
I guess not. That's a pretty contained splash zone. Now, okay, this might be just my willful ignorance speaking, but okay, the guy said, okay, this is a Japanese watch. Would there, unless there was like Japanese writing on the watch, would there be something to indicate that it's a Japanese watch? I mean, would the clock wouldn't read any differently? Am I correct? Seriously, this guy's like the worst guide ever.
Did he lose his hat, or is that a different guy?
No, that's him. He just
He abandoned his fashion.
yeah, he did. That's how you know the situation's gone really serious. Like, I love that he just abandoned them. Like, this guy's like the worst person ever.
Just say your friend died, now you just basically left them to die. Nice. Why wouldn't you have packed up and left the first time this happened? Why did you wait until you saw it again?
Again, yeah. See, basically they're kind of trapped on this island. It's like you can get on, but you can't get off.
Mm. Oh.
See,
okay.
But this is kind of amazing because this is a guy in a suit right
Yeah.
here. And I like how obviously...
It's a lot better than the freaking tentacle monsters from Gamera.
Well, it's Toho. It's everything better. But
But even just the way they designed it is a lot smarter.
well, yeah, because the legs where the actors, legs are actually in. They're dead center, and B, they're kind of hidden. Because I kept looking at it, trying to say, okay, it should be pretty. I mean, you know which ones they are, but they
Yeah.
integrate really well.
If she's not moving, you can't tell, really.
Well, yeah, no. Honestly, if you were just to see like a still shot of this, you'd probably think it's like a big puppet. But no, that's a guy in a suit, so it's really impressive how they kind of have him, moving around in there.
Yeah.
This whole sequence reminds me of the octopus scene in King Kong versus Godzilla.
Yeah.
Where like the woman and her child were like stuck in a little shack. Little Kong ain't gonna bail you out here, brother. Oh. Huh.
Wait, is he supposed to be dead?
He just Power Ranger landed. I like how the glow in the eye, how it kind of rises and falls.
Yeah. Well, so much for that shack. Oh, so he's not dead.
It's like he's getting molested by it.
Are those bats?
Yeah.
That's random.
Oh, it'll come into
Look
play
how
later.
they fly synchronized. Those are some fancy ass bats.
Those are some fancy ass bats. Yeah, I was trying to find like production notes on this film, try to see where they shot it. I know it might sound like just trivial, but I'm always curious when I watch movies like what location shooting and all that. So yeah, I'm definitely gonna say south of Japan and or Okinawa, and obviously these are like sets right here.
So why did they need a guide if they obviously found their way back okay?
Well, because they needed a guy. Well, he was already there working. They were going to meet up with him. Of course, now he's a complete basket case, so that didn't really work out in their favor. Something about this place looks different. Somebody open a window or something? Gosh, she screams at everything. It's like, it could be a body, or it could be another turtle. Like, we don't know. Suave!
Yeah, he's alive. Just yank him up like that. It's real good for him. I've seen some shit.
It's me every morning when my alarm goes off.
Alright.
Not because of the alarm, because I realize I gotta go to work. It's my initial reaction to it.
Sucks he's in the sunlight then.
I know, right? But it's so funny.
Say, how is that a joke? So is he an ice squid octopus thing?
Oh, you are gonna find out. And I love it. This makes me think of
Well, it did say the water was icy cold. So.
yeah. So it's kind of eluding that. Yep. So there you go. So it's kind of a nice little warning, like when you feel the water get cold, it means the monster's near. I always love when they do in movies when they have like some kind of indication that the creature is near. Even if you don't see it, there's something.
Yeah.
It's kind of like in Jaws when they had all those yellow buoys like attached to him, and whenever they would see the buoys pop up, they would know that the shark's close by.
Yeah.
It's also like the little ripples of water in the little cup of water in Jurassic Park when the T-Rex is approaching.
Yeah.
I don't know, just little things like that's always cool. I like little cues that kind of herald the arrival of something big.
So he's just like pillaging. He's like, well, guess I can take whatever I want now.
So there you go. Getting a little, of those crash zooms they used to do all the time in movies. Getting a little bit of insight into this particular character now, that perhaps he is not entirely what he has led us all to believe. If his suspicious demeanor and James Bond villain attire, didn't already give it away to you. And the fact that he smokes that really, really like pretentious mouthpiece. Like, I'm too good to smoke on the actual, thing. I gotta put, plastic between me and it.
Where did she come from?
Well, there's people on the island. Like, Rico Suave here, and, his people are, indigenous to the island. I mean, it's not like it's a primitive island, but it's, They must be lovers. Yeah, it explains why she's nagging him so much.
Wow.
That's what they were thinking.
It's the beach. No!
No! Oh, thank goodness, this Japanese person can speak Japanese, and this strange population made up entirely of Japanese people. What are the odds? It's like Karen all over again.
I know, right?
Gamera versus Barugon. How does Karen know Japanese? I don't know. The fact that she's Japanese has something to do with it? No, that must be it. There must be more to it than just that. Thank God. Look at this entire village that's going to be made up of Japanese people. Strangely speak Japanese. The plot thickens.
Oh, so there are actual...
Yeah.
They're just hiding?
Again, they're not, ultra primitive, but they're, primitive enough where they probably don't see, outsiders all that often.
We've got some exciting... Oh.
And this is the music from, again, King Kong versus Godzilla. I can't tell if they maybe re-recorded it or adjusted it, but it's definitely that same song. God,
Jesus.
Japanese Santa is angry. Just a weird cut to his face. It's like just angry person.
His white suit's still looking pretty clean.
I know, he's kind of like a cross between you know, he's basically the aesthetic of Dr. Moreau with the personality of Mr. T in a Japanese man's body.
That's
Just
a lot.
that is a lot. That's a lot to take in right there. Seriously, what is?
Jesus.
It's like an island of voyeurs right here. Yes, lucky.
Yes, I don't know how lucky they really were.
The operative word here. We're so lucky to be able to see the thing that killed one guy, or excuse me, two guys now, and I can't think of anywhere else I'd rather be. Yes. What if that's the case?
I don't know if amaze is really the right word. I'm sure some people, but he's like, no, you're not allowed to break the fourth wall.
So now we're getting a, the jig is up moment where, surprise, surprise, he's not a cultural anthropologist. Because, no. Obviously, back then, subtlety wasn't always the, it wasn't always kind of like, the preferred method of going about. Like, you always kind of had a good sense of who was the bad guy, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, as soon as he walked in the scene, it's like, how sleazy of a character can we design? I mean, he essentially just looks like the worst used car salesman ever. Like,
he's like, I'm offended.
He's totally gonna sell you a lemon. Yeah, see,
let's go diving.
I know.
Where the giant freezing octopus monster is.
Well, that's the thing too. If just being in the general vicinity, this thing can like lower the water to freeze. Thing, if people who go diving in like freezing water, like water that's literally below freezing and below, they have to wear special suits. Like you couldn't just wear like the normal kind here that you would
Well, and obviously too, it's the I forgot where I was going with that. Like the
that was deep. It's obviously I forgot.
Oh, creepy. What?
Some anti-Japanese natives on this island. I don't know how they can really be anti-Japanese, seeing how they're, Japanese. It's like going to an island and seeing a bunch of people with blonde hair, blue eyes, and, like, really white skin and say, God, these anti-white people. It's like, I don't know. But that was my point. I was saying, it's like, if this thing even just gets around you.
Oh, yeah, like freezing.
Well, that's it. Never mind it killing you. Just it being in your vicinity could kill you. So, it's a really cool idea for, like, a creature.
Yeah.
But, because of that, in the water anyway, you really wouldn't want to get in the water with it. Because, just being around it would kill you.
Oh, is that a parachute?
Yeah, it's that piece of the shuttle.
Oh, yeah.
we see the plot thickens. Like, what exactly did this shuttle bring back with it? Take my hand. Let's get the fuck out now, okay?
Oh, was that?
And I like how they're actually doing these shots underwater.
I know, right? Was that like a weird scream?
Yeah.
An underwater scream? He just wants some hugs.
Free hugs! These shots are not underwater, I don't believe. They're not doing the bubble effect here, but I know sometimes what they would do is, and they've done it in Godzilla films, they would do it later on too. They would actually have, the actors in suits on a set, and then they would put like a thin like glass of water where they would blow bubbles up in front of them, and then with the film through that, so it gave the illusion of like, oh, they're underwater with all the bubbles. So you basically would have the suits, the thin screen of water with bubbles, and then the camera on the other side. It would kind of create that illusion. They're not doing that here. I mean, this shot's underwater, that shot's not.
No.
See, I love how they're always just helping the monster out. So here, let me help you with that. Let me just kind of help you get this around. Oh, never mind.
I don't like that. It took him long enough to do that.
That didn't do much. Okay, so how did a harpoon gun not puncture it? With that kind of force.
To figure out, but the knife went through.
Yeah, but the guy just using his own strength, he was able to do it. But this whole sequence is done so well.
Mm-hmm.
Flipper and the gang.
They're like, you're all good, man.
So now you've seen bats that seem to have a curious effect on the monster. And now we have dolphins who came in and kind of
AKA motherfucking sonar.
Yeah, so you guys picking up on this? Oh.
What's happening?
You had a
You made me ink.
composite shot was done really well.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're probably starting to pick up on some clues here as to perhaps this thing's weakness. Well, that was rich, wasn't it?
You better believe it.
Does it hate rubber?
Isn't that why we went down?
Jeez. It's done so well.
I know.
I mean, it is a suit, right?
The octopus?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gazora. Again, they integrate it so well. See,
That statue.
always in these movies, it's like they want to put these monsters on display, and I'm always like, how? How do you do that?
How do you think you're going to contain them?
Honestly, you would have to turn probably the entire island into like a preserve.
Time to run, children. It's cardio hour with Gazora, or however you say his name. Is that how you say it, Gazora?
I believe that's how it's pronounced. Why couldn't you run? See, I like how it like undulates and it moves with a very kind of like organic quality to it. Ooh.
Fuck that guy.
I know, right?
Insult to injury. Literally.
Oh, that was weak.
I was gonna say, that was like the saddest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, I like how the suit really feels like segmented and really has a lot of kind of natural movement to it. Oh shit, here we go. Old Kris Kringle. Give him hell. Oh. No, that's not, no, don't do that. You might want to do...
That's the wrong thing. I see you.
I think the sounds of it moving too are there's a lot of sound effects from Son of Godzilla in here.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think though. Yeah, I can see the knees. For real quick, I saw kind of a knee or like where the knee to bend the guy actor's knee. So, but see, it's done so well. Ow.
Gross. That sound too, do you hear that?
Yeah.
It's gross.
We mean all the sound of it like moving?
Yeah, like the squishy sounds. I don't like it.
The squishy squid sounds?
Yes. Here's an octopus, thank you.
Well, he's a... Same family.
Well, yeah. I mean, he is an octopus. Well, no, I guess he does have a squid tube head, doesn't he?
They're, I believe the organism he's based off is a cuttlefish.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah, he was a cuttlefish. Yeah, look at the shape of the head.
Yeah.
Because
I guess that
octopus
makes
would have
sense.
much longer tentacles,
Well, that's what I was thinking.
and the head would be more a lot more narrow and have almost like that kind of that pyramid tip a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it looks like that's kind of what they were going for, but yeah, no, now I think of a cuttlefish.
I'm googling cuttlefish right now so I can see a picture of it, but I'm pretty sure that is a cuttlefish, a cuttlefish. Excuse me, not cuddle, not cuddle, cuttle.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to cuddle. Yeah, that's
Well, I think he does want to cuddle.
Oh yeah, no, that's a cuttlefish. It's done very well, but see, that's the thing too. Like Toho, like okay, what should one of our giant monsters be? I don't know. Let's make it a giant cuttlefish. Like what? Like how do you do that? Like how do you know what I mean? Like I like that they didn't go for just something simple, very anthropomorphic. 2 arms, 2 legs, just stick an actor in a suit like that. No, this is still a suit, still a tokusatsu. But it's not something, again, as easily achieved as, like, Godzilla, you know? It's,
Yeah.
The design does not lend itself to a human. But the fact that they're willing to do it, you know? The fact that they're like, okay, let's put something on screen where audiences are really going to be like, wow, how did they do that? How did they achieve it? I mean, we know how they did it, but it doesn't seem obvious. You know, this would not be an obvious design choice when you're thinking about putting a man in a suit.
It's the people.
Curious thing to save. I mean, you guys only just kind of figured that out, that it was weak to that, but okay. And guns! Guns! Yeah, fuck yeah, we're Japanese, we don't know how to use these.
I know, right?
Again, I like it, yeah, we know how to use it. It's like, yeah, and I know guns are, like, illegal in Japan, so it's great for a movie, but I'm like, how do they... I mean, I guess they could be... They have their... one guy's a photographer, there's a scientist, and they both do field work, so you could argue that they train just because both their jobs would take them all over the world, and therefore they might be in a position where, especially the photographer, honestly.
Yeah.
But it's always just so funny because, like, as Americans, we see this and we're like, yeah, get your gun and, shoot the monster. But in America, guns are legal. Like, you can go buy a gun and, that's that. So, but a lot of other places in the world, you can't just own a gun. So it's like, for Japanese audiences, this would have been like, okay, the fact that they knew how to use a firearm would have, been like, these people would have been more specialists right away. They would not have been viewed as just, oh, these are just your average Joes, shooting a gun. For them to know how to operate a firearm would have been a much more significant thing. Whereas, again, in America, it's just like, yep, action moment, makes sense.
Yeah.
It's also interesting to see that, as big as he is, he's not as large as typical kaiju in films at this point in time. And I remember reading too that was something Toho consciously did. They wanted kaiju in their movie, but they weren't. They didn't want to make them so big that they themselves could not really interact with the human characters and could not be directly affected, because this whole movie takes place on this island. So at no point are you going to see these things in a city knocking over buildings with, like, the self-defense force fighting them. So because of that, the people on the ground, with what little they have on the island, need to be able to kind of, occupy the monster's interest. So if they're too big, it's human beings are too out of sight, out of mind. So I think Toho kind of wisely scaled them down a little bit. I mean, they're still really big, I mean, they're not. No one's looking at this thing and calling it tiny. But, they're not so big where a human on the ground, chucking a spear at it would go unnoticed. I love this song. God, this thing looks so amazing. Just incredible what they're able to do. Even this shot right here, I like how it's actually swimming like a cuttlefish. And just how well this shot was achieved.
Poor thing. It's freezing.
No, it's just... Again, it's just... It's funny. Just this movie basically employs the most kind of hard to execute tokusatsu kaiju that you're going to see other kinds coming up. And like here, we're seeing how it spreads.
Well, that's magic dust.
I know, right? Again, though, none of the kaiju you're going to see in this film are like basic design in terms of, again, just how the actor fits into the suit. Again, you don't see the ultra anthropomorphic Godzilla type kaiju in this film. You see two more after this, but both again are going to work against the human silhouette.
Yeah.
And I like how, again, Toho was not afraid to do that. The irony is, I kind of think most of the Toho kaiju in the Showa era did do that. Like, if I'm really thinking about it, a lot of them, at least to some degree, try to go against the kind of the human form. And this film is a great example of how they did that.
Would you know how to use one?
Look at you laugh. Oh, I have a gun too. Like, bitch, please. Fucking Debbie Downer over there. Yeah, see, the people in this film, I would probably say they're on par with like the people of Odo Island maybe in got Gojira 1954. I mean maybe I know there might be a little. It's hard to tell
Yeah.
because again they're not like ultra primitive, but like the grass hut thing. But I don't know. I would say they're close to that level of tech. Damn.
What the fuck is that?
By the way, I want to also point out I didn't say it when it first happened, but yeah, careful there,
Jesus.
folks. Jesus Christ, guys, come on. No, but again, that little cache of weapons or whatever armor, if you will, is again something that's left over from World War II, and the Japanese. So again, it's curious again as a Westerner. When you see moments like that in these, Japanese films where they reference, okay, this is something left behind by the military from the war, oh, that poor Ken doll. But yeah, it's just, we would, obviously when we hear references like that in our movies, it's obviously the Americans, but it's weird, like, oh, here we go.
Finally, one of the other ones.
I know.
Not Ebra.
Not Ebra. But yeah, I was just say, it's always interesting when you see it, kind of played from the other side, hearing about the Japanese military. And for them, it wouldn't have been that long ago.
Yeah.
I love how they just know how to use that, by the way.
I know.
Then again, I guess...
I feel like it's pretty straightforward, but...
I guess he's a big enough target where...
Yeah.
That is so creepy. I think I like this design better than Ebra.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure this was obvious...
Like, well, it's later, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
But I love the level of detail in the suit, especially the mouth hut moves.
Yeah.
You know what it reminds me of? The way it moves, too?
What?
Those big, like, mechanical things from the Dark Crystal. Remember those things the Skeksis...
Yeah.
The Skeksis would send out? Aren't you kind of... They would have the multi-leg. Aren't you kind of getting that vibe from it a little bit?
A little bit, yeah.
The way it moves, the way it walks. But then again, it would have probably been achieved in a very similar way. I mean, those did... Oh, jeez.
That's nice.
But yeah, this whole movie really has a man versus beast kind of feel, which again is very different for Kai. Because again, it's like,
yeah.
Again, it's so interesting to see like humans really interacting direct. And again, the kaiju usually only like really focus on the humans when they're in tanks and planes, an extension of humanity. Whereas here, it's just the people themselves.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That zoom in.
I love the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
God, that thing looks so cool.
Just imagine all the meat you'd get in it. Just seeing a big dinner.
I know, right? Just drop them into a hot spring. Let them boil. Oh!
Ew.
Ow. That was gross.
I'm offended.
So again, it's interesting that it's actively chasing them. Like again, you would never see like Godzilla really do that. Well, not until 1998, anyway. And if any of you are wondering, the answer to your question is yes. We will.
Jesus Christ.
We'll get to that one.
I feel like there's a much better spot you could have gone to, not like up at the top.
Sure, they're... Oh, we got the other one, too. Damn. Some
Ew, whoa, what? Okay.
Yeah, that's how that works.
Cannonballed.
By the way, I love how you just kind of Nathan Drake that whole thing.
I know.
Yeah, design is really elaborate. And again, and I just love that nowadays all CGI, obviously, which, you know, hey,
Yeah.
that's fine. I mean, you can create now anything digitally, so that's awesome. But the fact that they had to put a guy in a suit, I love that it didn't deter Toho from creating these kinds of monsters, these kinds of kaiju.
Yeah. Use your muscles, woman.
Oh, he just falls and dies. Like, oh well, that's.
Man, they're a little trigger happy, aren't they?
I just love how they know that, you know, fire can like hurt these things, and this island apparently has just a surplus of like gasoline containers everywhere. Like, well, that's
Alright.
convenient. I guess they'd say, well, it was left over by the military. Yeah, I get that. That's a really good composite right there.
Yeah, it is.
There you go. Now you can go down and eat it.
Yum.
I think it's a little overdone. I just love how it spreads. Like, it really it kind of reminds me of The Thing a little bit. Or this thing that could, you know, move and travel around. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously in that film, which would come, you know,
And I'm clean.
I know, right? Which would come later. You know, it would basically take over living things to hide. Whereas I like here, it's, you know, kind of the exact opposite. It like kind of just completely distorts whatever organism and turns it into like this, you know, huge grotesque thing.
Space dust.
Yeah, let me poke it with a stick. That'll help. Oh.
Not again.
That was the most lackluster high ever.
I know, right?
Well, okay. Bit of a delayed effect. No shit. So now it's interesting. We're actually hearing this space amoeba, this kind of entity, if you will. Because obviously before it was just kind of inhabiting the body of just normal animals, I guess. So, but now that it's in a human's mind, we can now kind of understand it more at a human intellect. So it can now communicate in a way that we would understand it because now it's in one of our minds. So it knows our language, you know, our behaviors, if you will. Although I have to say, as interesting as an alien invasion story as this is, I'm not sure if I like that it is like a sentient alien invasion. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
almost think I liked it more again when it was more like feeling like The Thing.
Yeah.
Where it was like, okay, it was more like an organism of some kind, and that's how it spread. So yes, it was going to kind of take over the world, but not because they wanted to conquer the world, but rather because it by nature of what it is, how it spreads and what it does to organisms when it kind of takes them over. Because I'm looking at it and I'm kind of like, I mean, there's humans all over this island, so I'm kind of thinking like, well, wouldn't it make sense to start taking over the humans and then just use them to get off the island but wouldn't have a monster.
Only their
movie.
size has changed, so why did the cuttlefish have fucking freeze powers?
Well, my thing is like, okay, why isn't he become like a big giant monster man? Like, why doesn't he look like basically Frankenstein from Frankenstein Conquers the World? Because it's like
Clearly, motherfucking space creatures.
Motherfucking space creatures. And he's all like, yeah, man. Totally. But it's kind of a creative take on the whole idea where, they're using kind of the natural ecology on our planet and basically kind of weaponizing it. They're turning normal animals. Because basically it's saying, well, geez, if it could take something as simple as a cuttlefish and turn it into a kaiju, it's like, okay, any living thing on the planet can become like a big, scary, destructive monster. So it's a really kind of ingenious way of like, because before we'd see like we'd seen Godzilla films where the aliens would like take over other kaiju and make them kind of run wild, but the kaiju are already there. Even when they did it with King Ghidorah, it was never really implied they made Ghidorah so much as they just controlled him. But I like here how they're literally kind of manufacturing monsters.
Yeah.
I also love how serious this movie is. Again, there was a period of time where these, especially the Godzilla films were getting a little silly.
Yeah.
And again, I noticed that, towards the end of the Showa era, films started to get more serious again. I mean, I know this is kind of fresh off, not too far away from, all monsters attack and whatnot.
Okay.
Does he know that? I don't think Rico is really aware. Like, okay.
Like, I get it, but like, time and place, guys.
He's kind of a drooling idiot right now, and I'm pretty sure because of that,
maybe he has a lot of money.
Yeah, but I'm looking at him now. I'm like, I'm pretty sure, given his current condition, that a honeymoon would count as like statutory rape. Like, I don't really think he's in a position to consent. If you know if you know what I'm saying, like don't get me wrong, she's very pretty and all, but I think it's something of a moral quandary.
Jesus. That's real nice.
Oh, it's like Get Out, where like you take their phone and get the flash, and they like, kind of wake up for a second. Guess that's what happened. Someone took a piece of a rich old white guy's brain and stuck it in Rico Suave.
She's like, oh no, my plan's been ruined. I guess we don't have to get married now.
Yeah, I don't really think he had amnesia so much. He was just kind of gone.
No.
Yeah, so now we're starting to piece things together. Or guess porpoises, not dolphins.
Close enough. 'Cause, 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 'c
Looks like she has like a Rufio kind of hairdo going on with
I
that
know.
headpiece on. Rufio, Rufio. It's all fascinating, guys. Can you hurry up and get out so I can get to my honeymoon?
I know, right?
I consent.
So are they still getting married? Did that still happen?
I was like, so are we just kind of like done with that? Like, I don't think they went through all the. They probably took care of it at City Hall before. It's real. I love how kind of the darker makeup they had on Rico's face initially, that kind of make him look more, I don't know, Islander-esque, I guess, has kind of faded away. And none of the other Islanders had it either.
I know.
Just him.
Or was he just... It's gonna sound really bad, but it's like, unless he was just supposed to be dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. It's,
Got some crispy bats.
Again, we've seen Toho do it too before, especially in
Yeah.
Kong versus Godzilla, where the certain makeup choices were used to kind of imply a different ethnicity, which wouldn't really fly by today's standards, but you know. I also love how this movie really utilizes kind of. Oh, I'll shut up.
Not camera.
The not camera.
It's like Anguirus and Gamera combined.
Love how the neck can kind of like extend.
Yeah.
So we have our third kaiju here, and again, it's a quadruped. So we have a giant monster with tentacles, a large crustacean that's like a multi-leg crustacean, and a quadruped. So Toho went the easy route in this film, very much so. Again, 3 different kaiju, all of which are really pushing kind of the limits of what you can do with an actor in a suit.
Yeah.
That's a cool effect. Although it begs the question, where is the actor's head in there?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think I saw the holes where he sees. If you look,
I was gonna say it's obviously not in the head itself.
no, if you look at the chest real quick, there's a scene where it kind of read up a little bit, and you can see the little holes there.
Mm.
So basically, he sees out of the kind of the chest plate, I guess, if you will.
Yes, clearly. We'll never find the cave now.
Well, no, they're trying to
Oh, keep them in? Yeah.
yeah,
yeah.
keep the bats in.
So they can die because they won't get food.
Well, again, they're trying to keep the bats in, basically kind of use them as like a weapon if they need to.
Yeah.
And also keep them in there with them so they can be safe.
Look, he's alive and he's not even that dirty.
Well, as opposed to where else would you sleep?
I know.
It's funny. He's always like, "Oh, let me stay here with you guys," or "I have to." Like, guys, you're all on an expedition together. There's like no other options. Yeah, I'm just gonna,
Fucking weird.
take a quick pineapple. Love these shots. I wish they have more of them. Again, it really is interesting how this movie works with minimalism very well. Again, it's taking place just in on a small island, uh, relying very heavily on kind of sets too.
Oh, Jesus.
And you can see how tight they have to shoot these shots because these sets are not very big, some of these. It's funny right here. If you look closely, you can see the wire on them.
Mm.
And I like how they had the wire on him when he was going into the scene, so they could do it all in one shot. They didn't have to do a cutaway. I like the lighting right there. That's cool. Yeah, because he's been such a stand-up guy so far.
Mm. Okay. It's honestly weird that he's like quivering his mouth.
I think it's supposed to be they're trying to like he's not actually enunciating the words, but like the voice is just kind of emitting from him, so it's like slight movement from his mouth. But it's weird because for the actor on set, they probably had to do just a close tight shot of him, and basically just had him just do some lift his eyebrows and move his mouth around just a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of those things when you see it, the finished product, it looks fine, but you gotta think how weird it must be for the actor when they're filming it. You know what I mean? When you see like actors in the middle of like, especially when you see the actors in the middle of like an effect shot and it looks really good on camera, but then you realize that there's nothing around them. So a situation like that where we're gonna stick a camera in your face and you just kind of have to like right here, you hear the voice, he's kind of being snarky, he's got kind of the grin, so it all works. But the actor's just standing there, randomly making kind of a snarky face, then making it go away, then making his eyes go wide. Like, he's not, you know what I mean?
I think they did that wrong. You're supposed to block him from the entrance.
Haha! Now you'll never enter. Yeah, these, some of those sound effects were from, Kamakaris. So I'll give Toho a pass. At least they're not using stock footage. You know what I mean?
With these.
I do like though how they're essentially kind of fighting this. It's a big story with monsters, and yet I like how they're able to bring it down at a kind of a very human level. And like the big this big dramatic moment with all this tension is over something as simple as burning bats. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like usually in a Godzilla movie or something like that, it would not come down to something so simple. So this is much more of a human story. Get the fuck off me. That face. But no, I do like how we're seeing that because he is of a more sentient mind. He's able to do what these other organisms could not do, and that is like kind of resist.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the ultimate irony there. This is physically the smallest and weakest creature they've created, so to speak, because he hasn't really physically transformed much.
Yeah.
Yet he is able to kind of resist them, whereas these other big giant monsters could not.
Yeah. You could put out the fire.
Yeah, I was gonna say that might be a. Well, no. No, actually, that's exactly what man is, a structure of cells. I always hate when they give lines like this to scientists. I'm like, no, a scientist tell you, no, there's no soul. It's just his cognitive mind able to kind of fight it off more. These, you have a crustacean and a turtle. They're, you know what I mean? They don't have enough cognitive reasoning to kind of resist it because they function more on instinct anyway, whereas a human being thinks more about what it does. So it's not a soul, it's just the fact that our brain basically has more computing power.
Yeah.
So what have we learned? Mankind has no soul, and we're just basically glorified espresso makers with squishy bits. That's done so well.
I know.
The irony is the quadruped is probably the least impressive out of all the monsters, just because. Ow. Okay, they reverted to just plain monsters, as opposed to.
I know.
Look at those mandibles.
Oh, Jesus.
Ow.
Oh.
Ooh.
Wow.
That was a good shot. See, my thing is, like, why are the bats just hanging out over them?
I know.
I love the texturing on his back.
Mm-hmm.
The shell, how they did it.
It's kind of furry.
There we go, yeah. See, again, using kind of the same method that they did for, obviously, like, Anguirus, where the actor's kind of crawling on his hands and knees. I just don't know why Toho didn't do what they did for Jiger.
Mm-hmm.
And Gamma versus Jiger. Again, I don't know what they did, but that was the best quadruped tokusatsu suit I think I've ever seen, where the actor was not on their hands and knees. They were both... Oh. Ah.
I liked how they also gave him a lot of different... Oh, well... Oh. Kaiju go boom. I was gonna say, I like how they gave him a lot of detail on the monsters. Oh, Jesus, he's just getting, like, he's getting spanked almost. That's
I know.
Like the color variation and stuff. It's like I was saying with Gamma, the suits are very flat usually, so it's nice how detailed these are. These two are obviously a lot better. Like the cuttlefish was good, but
the cuttlefish was more
better.
Impressive just how it moved. I think, and how they're able to kind of make it look like it was legitimately walking on tentacles.
So they just basically gonna... It's like he's trying to go in the volcano, and he's like, no.
So this looks really good.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's kind of like if Toho could do suits like this, why didn't they do it for Godzilla?
Well, they did. I mean...
I feel like these are technically more...
Well, again, with Godzilla, they kind of have to keep cranking those out.
I guess.
Whereas
Yeah.
this is, oh, look at that. That looks painful. Just dragging him by the neck. But this was more of a one and done kind of movie.
Still.
Whereas Godzilla, oh yeah, but they bet you.
Reoccurring ones though.
But at the same time, I think Toho wanted to continue to doing something new. They didn't want to just keep reusing it, even though they kind of started doing that.
Like, see, Gamera, why didn't you guys make a suit like this? I mean, not as spiky, I guess, but...
Well, again, Dai did not have the same kind of budget. Like, they just couldn't afford to do stuff like this, unfortunately. I mean, not... Yeah, anyway, again, that's the problem. It's not for probably lack of want on Dai's part. It was more like they just couldn't afford it.
Yeah. Looks like soups for dinner. Turtle crab soup.
Kind of reminds me of the explosion they did on Mount Miharo in The Return of Godzilla in '84.
Mm.
Again, it's a miniature shot, but it looks really, really good. Like they're able to kind of capture the scale of it. And obviously, some of the stuff like this is, real stock footage of a volcano.
If I was them, I would have left a long time ago. Why would you hang around?
I know. Well, that's the thing. When a volcano is actually erupting, like, you always see people in the movies, oh, yeah, we're right there. People who get that close to, like, active volcano, they have to wear those suits. Because you don't realize, to be that close to one, like, when it's going off, it's so hot. And the gas, too, is...
I'm gonna say, I like how nobody kept tabs on him.
Nobody's been keeping tabs on this fool for, like, the entire movie.
Guess he's gonna YOLO.
Like, right there, if he was that close... Well, I forget, he's under control of the aliens, so his body's probably more...
I don't know.
It's pretty
I
boss,
feel like
though.
his skin should be melting off at least.
Well, yeah, what are you gonna do, dude? You can't get that close. Again,
he just looks lost. He's like, oh, where am I?
It's a really... Oh, there we go.
Nope.
I think Ripley did it better in Alien 3. See, I like how he was very clearly the sleazy character, but ultimately, he proved to, like, he was... It's interesting, too, because they did kind of play against the type, because at no point did he actually try to really hurt anyone. I mean, he was just there to do his job. It was a sleazy job, but, He never actively put anyone in harm's way. Well, when he wasn't, in control of himself.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of the irony is when push comes to shove, is his humanity was really like, okay, he was gonna steal plans, but he was never gonna like try to hurt anyone. I don't know. It's a good character drama, and I like how this movie really focuses on human characters. The monsters were there, but the monsters almost felt more like narrative set pieces to really kind of push the human drama, which is kind of cool because at this point the Godzilla films are really just about Godzilla whooping ass. So it's kind of interesting to see Toho do a movie like this, and I think that's why they made this movie. It's because with Godzilla, they were sticking to a very kind of tried and true formula. But anyway, we'll get back to Godzilla soon. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace!
Peace.